Can we please stick a fork in it because this season is done. Well done. Overdone. Beyond cooked.
You're Locked On Flames, your daily podcast on the Calgary Flames. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Locked On Flames. As always, I am your host, Jess Belmosto, and thank you so much for joining me. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Today, we're going to be talking about a little bit of the game against New Jersey, as well as the mixed messages and mixed signals we're getting from the team, the front office, and such. Make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Flames wherever you get your podcasts, as well as YouTube. We're here for you Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, your team every. So, Matt Coronado has scored the only goal tonight against the New Jersey Devils. It's late in the third, or I guess the third period is underway. But I feel like there is so much to unpack with this team that, a simple recap wouldn't do it justice. So let's talk about Matt Coronado real quick because he's having a stellar season and has been a consistent difference maker all season long. For those of you who don't remember or need a refresher, Coronado started the season with the Flames and then was reassigned to the Wranglers after kind of struggling a little bit, not too much, but enough. And he was reassigned to the Wranglers. His agent went on a little retweeting spree on Twitter. Coronado played very well with the Wranglers and then got recalled and has been with the team ever since. He is now up to 18 goals on the season and just incredible stuff from him. He has a shot that the Flames desperately need. It is fast, it is accurate, and it is sharp. Just the release when the puck leaves his stick, it is beautiful. When it takes air, gets air, wonderful. Love to see it. I think that he is someone that the Flames will absolutely benefit from having on their team in even a few years when this team is hopefully a little bit further down the road in their rebuild. Because I don't think it's a bad thing that he's ahead of the curve in terms of his development. He has been one of the most improved players, I would have to argue. Especially, I guess you could consider last year like his full rookie year, but I guess this year would technically be a sophomore year then, and there hasn't really been a sophomore slump for Matty Coronado. So that's good to see. It's nice to see that the jump start, the little wake up call, whatever it might be, got him going when he was with the Wranglers. And sometimes that's what players need. And while it was questioned at the time by a lot of people, including myself, I'm glad it happened. I think it was something that was absolutely necessary. And it's great to see. Speaking of other difference makers, let's talk about Mackenzie Weegar. Mackenzie Weegar is consistently blocking shots, at least 3, 4, or more a game. And we know that he is someone that, he is a defenseman's defenseman. He is, you wish that you could clone him and have 6 of him. And maybe 7 in case he gets hurt. But he has been such a great asset to this team since he has arrived in Calgary from Florida. I think that he has just this fire within him, and his story is very much that of that Flames hard work, grit, determination, commitment sort of philosophy that they have. played ECHL all the way up to the NHL. So it's great to see from him. And I think one, last year he was an offensive machine. And that's kind of taken a step back this year, but I think it's because his defensive responsibilities have kind of picked up even more, to be entirely honest. And I do wonder what the Flames' plan is in terms of getting uh, him a solid defensive partner. That's not a shade or anything to Joel Hanley, but Joel Hanley is 33 years old. I don't expect him to be on Uyghur's pairing next season, and I really don't want to see Miro Manov back on that pairing either. So I guess we just have to, it's just a waiting game again. I hope that they're able to figure something out, because whether it's bringing someone like one of the young kids up or going out and getting someone inexpensive at the, during free agency, it would be beneficial. And I think that they really need to reevaluate the defensive pairings as a whole. But that's a conversation for later on in the show. But coming up next, we're going to talk about the mixed messaging and mixed signals and gaslighting, even from the Flames front office here on Locked On Flames.
Did you know getting a good night's sleep is the #1 recipe for long-term success in life? I didn't. It took me way longer to realize than I'd like to admit. It was years of tossing and turning. I was always tired. I never felt like I could live up to my potential, but not anymore. Thanks to Bear Mattress. I used their sleep quiz and I matched with the Elite Hybrid. It's perfect for side sleepers like me. Now I wake up energized. I'm getting deeper sleeps and I'm ready to attack the day. No matter how you sleep, Bear Mattress has a match for you with a focus on recovery, cooling, and pressure relief to upgrade your sleep and improve your overall quality of life. Go to bearmattress.com and use promo code LOCKEDONNHL at checkout for 40% off site-wide. This offer is not available anywhere else. You have to use my promo code on the very last page of checkout to get this discount. That's bearmattress.com and use promo code LOCKEDONNHL for 40% off site-wide. Bearmattress.com, promo code LOCKEDONNHL.
Thanks everyone for hanging out with me today on Locked On Flames. Make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcasts, as well as YouTube. We're here for you Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, your team every day. And as I am recording, Connor Zary just scored, so 3-2. But I guess this ties into what we're going to be talking about, and it is the mixed messaging and I don't even know if it's a miscommunication from what is being told and spoken to the media versus the actual plan of attack. Because since Conroy came in, all we've heard is, there's a plan. There's a plan. And we're going to stick to the plan. And he did a great job last season trading players off. He did a great job at the draft. Did excellent during free agency, not going out and throwing a 7-year contract at a Jake DeBrusk or anyone that didn't necessarily fit what the Flames were looking for. And since the trade deadline, it has been, we believe in this team. We think this team can do it. We've got a good group here. We went out and added guys early, and that's what our plan is, which is fine. I think that I can, respect that. But what we're not seeing is consistent offense. And this scoring has been a struggle for this team all year long. They went 8 games without scoring more than 3 goals. You need to be able to consistently score more than 3 goals in a game in today's day and age in the current state of the NHL. There's no way you're winning games or a series if you're not able to score more than 3 goals. You look at Winnipeg and you look at the Flames, and I'm just using this as an example because the Flames could very well play Winnipeg, but Winnipeg has a great goaltending, and so do the Flames, right? The thing that sets the Jets further apart from the Flames is their consistent goal scoring and the ability to just break a game wide open at any given moment. And that is what's missing for the Flames. Do I think that Connor Zary is kind of developing into that player? Yes, I do. I think that he has very large shoes to fill with, Kachuk and Gaudreau being those 2 players that came before. Those are big shoes to fill, and no one has ever expected any player to just come in and fill those shoes. Maybe Jonathan Huberdeau off the bat, but more in the sense of, okay, like he'll help make up for the offense lost, right? Obviously, did not happen. So to have this next generation of young Flames players coming up and doing all the right things to lead you down a path of we need to continue with our plan and our strategy and you know locking them up long term, it feels very different, I guess. It just doesn't feel like the messaging is clear. I feel like management is saying one thing while we're looking at an entirely different product on the ice, because I don't know, and I understand optics wise why you can't come out and say this team isn't a playoff team. I understand that. It's not like they are, I mean, I can't even say the Canadians anymore because I'm pretty sure they're still they're in a wild card spot. Um, they're not the Sabres, they're not the Sharks, they're not the Ducks. They're hanging around. They're still in the wild card chase, and saying that you don't believe in that group would be very detrimental. However, you have to be honest, and I think that no moves at the deadline was the plan all along, even if it was a buyer's market. I feel like management truly knows that this team cannot go anywhere. And in their hearts of hearts, they're ready to pull the trigger this offseason and make some more moves. You know, we've talked a lot about, well, who do you build around? Who do you let go? What is the detriment of letting veterans go and you're just with a bunch of young kids just kind of circling the drain and not really sure what to do? But the thing with the Flames is they have enough players under long-term contract that are worth keeping that would keep this team afloat in terms of leadership and what's, I guess, those intangibles that coaches love. But I feel like we're just getting very big mixed signals because, again, it was talked about around the deadline. Oh, Joel Hanley, lots of teams are calling on him. And then like the next day it's, oh yeah, Flames might be extending Joel Hanley. What what are we doing? Um I feel like there is an opportunity here for the Flames to avoid repeating history, and I just need them to do it. I really need them to take a long, hard look in the mirror and say, It's nothing personal. This is a business. You know, look at Kadri, say, "Hey, you said you wanna go to a contender," or, you know, "Let us find a new home for you," sort of situation. Um, I can only imagine how that conversation would go with Rasmus Anderson, or even, like, really Coleman, Kadri, or Anderson. I think that, you know, they love this team, they love this group, but have all been around long enough, around the sport long enough to know that this isn't, uh, the long-term plan for them. And I think, they don't fit the vision. I love Kadri. I think that he has been fantastic since he's gotten here. I think Blake Coleman has been such an underrated, asset to this team. And, Rasmus Anderson, watching him go from this, out of shape AHLer to a top pairing defenseman has been it's just a testament to what hard work and a good work ethic can do for you. I think that he's kind of been stiffed this season in terms of D partners, and I think that that's hopefully something the Flames will address this off season, because you need to have a true 1-2 defenseman when you have Uyghur as your third or fourth. But, like, I just get really discouraged when I think about the idea that the Flames are going to sign Anderson to a long-term deal when that's just not part of, at least, the vision that I see for the Flames. But coming up next, we are going to wrap up the show with some more thoughts and what needs to be addressed here on Locked On Flames. March Madness is here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's 200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories, and even who is cutting down the nets. I've got my eye on a few underdogs this year, and with FanDuel, they make it easy to back them with spreads, totals, and game props. The FanDuel app is simple and super easy to use, and when I win, I get paid instantly. There is no waiting around. So visit FanDuel.com and get in on the college hoops action all tournament long. Thanks everyone for hanging out with me today on Locked On Flames. Make sure you are following me on Twitter and Blue Sky at JustBelMosto. I just have a very hard time looking at this final month of the season saying this team should make the playoffs. I was a little more optimistic after Four Nations leading up to the trade deadline, but it's just not happening. And that's fine. I do think it is in the Flames' best interest to miss the playoffs this year, because if they make the playoffs, it is sending the message of, well, we snuck in and we did it. Maybe next year we can do the same thing again and again and again. And that just is not conducive if you want to win and you want to get better. It's not how you're going to create a winning team and a winning culture. I feel like we've been having this conversation for the last 2.5, 3 years. You're not going to find that elite talent that you desperately need in the mushy middle. I think the Flames really lucked out when they got Coronado 12th overall. But look at Sam Honzik. He was drafted in that same spot. two very different players, and you don't know what you're going to get there. And I would like to say that the Flames, having a few more top 10, top 5 draft picks would do this team some good. Miramonov just tied this up. So I still don't take back what I said about having seen enough of him. Good for the Flames for coming back. But again, this is what their show management and what they are like. They can have a Cinderella story, absolutely, but it can't be right now. This roster is not assembled for a playoff run. This roster is not. You can barely beat the the Blackhawks. You just got pummeled by Toronto. And you want to talk about taking on the Jets or, really anyone with high-end scoring talent. And I want to talk about this team being competitive, but it's not going to be for quite some time. Jonathan Huberdeau just put the Flames up 4-3. 26 goal on the season for him. I'm astonished, but my point still stands because this team, while it's great that they can rally from behind, I mean, you have to be able to score consistently. You can't be playing from behind every night. What I want to see more of is this throughout the game. And I understand, sometimes you're going to get those weird lucky bounces, like they did on the Miramonov goal, but you have to find the real scoring chances, and I feel like we don't see that from this current system. So maybe, this summer everyone goes back to the drawing board and they move some players around, they bring some players in. Ryan Huska draws up a new plan, and suddenly the team, they're generating more high danger chances. It's just very uninspiring to watch low scoring games every night and watching the Flames get cooked. And to have a 3-goal third period for the Flames, okay, that's unexpected, and it's fun, but we also need to remember that you don't need to play hockey games like this when you have a tried and true talented group. But that'll do it for me here on today's episode of Locked On Flames. Thank you all so much for joining me. Make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcasts, as well as YouTube. We're here for you Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, your team every day. And I will see you all tomorrow with a recap of the week and whatever new news hits our timeline.